Tonight, I'm going to be breaking down utilizing not just IG Lives, but whether we're talking about Facebook Lives, whether we're talking about TikTok tonight. I'm getting deep into understanding the details, peeling the onions back behind the layer on some of the issues that most people don't talk about. So let's go ahead and get into it, right? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Deep Mind Dreams. I've been involved in the industry since 2017, right? I've been around when a lot of these chairmen, a lot of the educators that we see now, I watched them literally explode from a whole different level. I'm talking about seeing Teacup Lou sleeping on couches, Darwin at my house at the beginning as a P600, P1000. So it's safe to say I've been able to see a lot of this journey. And if there's a couple things I've realized, number one is being able to truly get bold, right? Everybody go ahead and drop a bold in the chat below, right? If you see Alex Morton, right? Yes, he's huge into personal development. Yes, he's massive with Bob Proctor on the spiritual side, but he's also very action oriented. So, right. So for this fourth quarter, this is the mode to really get into massive action. So the table of contents for tonight. Tonight, we're going to be covering a couple of different things, right? Number one, we're going to be talking about what qualifies somebody to even host an event, right? Is it a Platinum 150? Is it a 2 and 3? Is it somebody that just got into the business, right? What qualifies somebody for an event? And number two, this is called the Kyle Wilson wheel, right? Some of you might have heard of it. Some of you might have not. I'm excited to go ahead and break it down to give you a visual of how we can start mapping out our content and really getting organized, right? Number three, this is going to be 3 questions to ask ourselves before we actually do each live, right? At the end of the day, it's so important to learn to do everything with intention, okay? Next is hosting an interview, right? For those that are like, D, I see it's about IG Lives, but I don't know how to really get started. I don't know how to actually stay consistent. This is a great way to go ahead and get the ball rolling and actually get a schedule going to really start mapping out the content and getting organized, not just for yourself, but being able to duplicate this for leaders that are growing in the organization. And last but not least, I'm going to be touching on the power of a story, right? They say facts tell, stories sell. I'm going to give you a visual of exactly why that's true. So let's get into it, right? Wasting no time. The first thing is first is going to be talking about Kyle Wilson's wheel, okay? At the end of the day, I'm going to touch on what qualifies somebody towards the end, okay? What qualifies is going to lead into this. Kyle Wilson's wheel is basically very simple. If you guys were to take your piece of paper and you were to go ahead and draw a dot in the middle, and on the outside, go ahead and draw what are the spokes of social media that we use to attract customers into our business. So maybe you're using Facebook, maybe you're using Instagram, maybe you're using TikTok, right? So all these different avenues, here's the reality, okay? We have Facebook Live, we have Facebook Shorts, we have Instagram Live, we have Instagram Shorts, we have all of these, we have TikTok Shorts, TikTok Lives, all of these different spokes in our wheel that we can start identifying how are we going to tailor our content? What is our schedule going to be like? But it starts with knowing what it is that we're even ready to go and go all in with. Maybe you're focused on Instagram and TikTok right now. Maybe you're really focused on utilizing Instagram and Facebook Lives. I don't know what that is for you. Everybody's going to be different. That's why the beauty of this is being able to design it for yourself or for your newest leader to help them maximize their strengths. Okay. So 3 questions right here. 3 questions, 3 things to think about. Number one is going to be building an audience, right? There's 3 keys that if you look at some of the top 1%ers inside of the industry, right? Whether we're talking about Russell Brunson, Eric Worre, these are 3 things they talk about. Number one, build an audience. 3 keys for success. Number 2, give value. Number 3, give them a chance to raise their hand. Okay. So if we're talking about building an audience, how do we build an audience to have more people see our Instagram Lives, to see our Facebook Lives? Well, this is actually a 2-way street. So not only do we have to take the time to actually go out and build a network with new individuals, but if we're not meeting new people every day, we're going to have the same eyeballs seeing our content. So I started to realize whether it was networking 50 people through places, maybe going on UK, Miami, different parts of the world and shooting them a DM, liking a couple photos and dropping a comment on their page. This is ways we can build an audience, right? We can go on Instagram, go ahead and type in entrepreneur, go type in digital skill sets, Wi-Fi money, and now we can network with new faces, building an audience. That's number one. Number 2 is be able to give value. right? The whole idea of these Instagram lives, these Facebook lives, is to give value, right? We're in a day and age where people are looking to learn. They're looking to go ahead and learn and gain new skill sets, but it takes us being able to pour into our cup so we can then go pour into others. And last but not least, give them a chance to raise their hand. How do we do that? With calls to action. Okay. There's a lot of different calls to action you guys can see. If you look at some of the top performers, they all use them all the time, right? Go watch Tia, look at Neno, look at Matt, look at Alex Morton. They're utilizing calls to action and giving people a chance to say, you know what? I want some of that. I want some of that time freedom. I want an extra $100, $200 to pay my bills, right? So that's Kyle Wilson's wheel. What platforms are we going to maximize and leverage, right? Next, 3 questions to ask before we even go ahead and do a live, right here. Thinking about expectation, the value, and can they even do it, right? So number 1 is going to be what to expect. The title and the intro is what's going to allow the viewers to not only get drawn in, but this is why they're going to stay, right? Mr. Beast, the reason why Mr. Beast is so successful, he's mastered the thumbnail. He's mastered the first 3, 5, 7 seconds of a video to have a hook, right? To bring somebody in. If you guys look at your TikTok, watch this. Do this when we get off this call. Go on your TikTok and go on more data. Click on more insights, or even we can do it on Instagram. Click on more insights, and you can see exactly when people fall off of their page. You can see exactly when the watch time starts to decline, and a lot of the time the watch time declines fast because there's not a good enough hook to reel people in and keep them to stay. Okay, that's number 1. What are they going to expect? What is the title of the video going to? Number 2, give value about, right? Remember this: everything that we do, the customer, the individual on the other side, here's what they have written on their forehead. It's called WIFM. WIFM, any person that we're speaking to, whether that's on a phone, on a Zoom, on an Instagram live, at an in-person event, they're thinking, what is in it for me? So when I'm doing a live, I'm not just thinking about myself. I'm thinking about how can the end user, how can the other side gain something from this? So now they can get into step number 3, right? The call to action. Can they see that they can do it for themselves? Can they take a step forward today? Like, what's the action they can maybe go ahead and download MTrader 4 and maybe get the demo, and they can kind of see what it looks like. Maybe they can go ahead and get on Etsy, make an account, and then they're going to see, I don't know how to do this for myself. I need a mentor. I need somebody to go ahead and walk me through, right? All these are beautiful ways to go ahead and give calls to action. Hey, you know what? I know Jean-Luc and Gil, they have an event tonight. So they could have done a live this morning, calling out and promoting for the event, not just happening tonight, but now promoting for the next event as soon as this one finishes, right? So this is great. Next, hosting an interview, right? What is the easiest way to host an interview? What's the easiest way to start getting these Instagram lives, these Facebook lives going? Is right here, right? Who can we recognize to showcase somebody else's success? When we can get somebody to an event, if we can get them to stop the scroll, this is literally having an event. You guys are going to realize that one of our mentors, he talks about everything that we do is an event, right? Every story, every live, every person that we go out and meet in person. So realize that even you going live in the morning, afternoon, even at nighttime right now, you are hosting an event. If somebody stops the scroll, they get on and they see Sienna's value. They see Carlos's story and they say, you know what? I want some more of that. How do I go ahead and learn about e-commerce? How do I get into trading? I see crypto just hit 35K. How do I get access to that knowledge? So there's so many, every one of you, you all have a testimonial right here. I could go through the list and literally name out one after the next. So one of the greatest pieces of action I can give you getting off of this call is go ahead and drop somebody down below. Drop it down in the chat. Who is the next person you're going to go ahead and interview and showcase their success? I know there's so many trading testimonials, e-commerce. We have rank ups. We have 2 and 3s. We have new members that are growing and personally developing. Forget about the money. People want to see 2 things at the end of the day, right? Remember this, write this down, star this. People want to see profits. Yes. They also want to see progress. You see, when we become the best version of ourselves, naturally, we inspire others to do the same. Right, so this is easy. Anybody can go ahead and pick somebody right here, right now, to go ahead and be your interview partner tomorrow. So let me know. Drop their name down in the chat. Let me know who you guys are going to go ahead and interview. And I promise you right now, this is where the magic starts to happen, because here's what you're doing. You're cross-pollinating networks, right? So I'll give you an example. Ready? You might only have 800 followers, but let's say the individuals that you get on the interview, maybe they have 5,000. So now when you get this interview, you have all of these extra eyeballs going to your page. And this is not only going to allow your page to grow, but now you're able to influence an entirely different audience. And at the end of the day, you never know who you're going to be able to impact. Okay. Julian Kushner, Alex Morton, if you pay attention, there's a reason why they got to where they got to, because they were constantly speaking their story, which leads me into my next point. The power of a story, right? We've all heard the term facts tell, stories sell. Let's think about an example so we can really make this sense to understand how powerful our story actually is. Okay. Here's my example for you. If you go on Temu, right, there's this pen. It's actually a really nice looking pen, but you know what's crazy? It's only $2. You can go get it for $2.98. But then if you go on the right side, I got a little piece of it right here. You can go Google this right now. This is a John F. Kennedy Montclair ball pen ink pen. You know how much this costs? Google it. $805. Somebody tell me the difference between the functions of this pen and this pen. What's the difference? They both write on paper. They can both write down our goals. But what separates them? Why is one 100 times more expensive than the other one? 800 times more expensive than the other one? You know why? It's really simple. Because it has a story. The John F. Kennedy pen. This is an exclusive pen that's literally representing one of the presidents that we've actually been able to have. So it's not that it's much better, but it has a story. So remember that for each and every single one of you, your story, there's somebody out there that can relate with 3 pieces to your story. Your story is 3 things, okay? It's where we were, where it is that we are, what's the pain point? Why did we make the decision? Why did we make the change to go and actually step into entrepreneurship, to go ahead and invest into ourselves? That piece right there, that's how someone's going to be able to relate. For me, I was homeless out of my car. I had no job. I was $30,000 debt when I first got introduced. My sister just passed away from cancer. You see, there's 2 types of people. Somebody that's hungry or somebody that's starving. Somebody that's hungry, they can go a couple of days without eating. Somebody that's starving, they need to make it happen. So let me know down below right now. Are you hungry or are you starving? And I can tell you right now, energy always sticks as equal. When you get on a live and you let people feel that energy, that's going to go through the screen. And odds are, last time you asked somebody when the last time they were on a winning team, it's probably been a while. So your story, somebody else's story that you share is going to allow them to see that we have one of the most powerful pieces. And we just talked about it on our leadership call. We have a community. That's something I was looking for. Drop a 3 down below if you guys have been looking for a community of like-minded people, of individuals that you could grow with, elevate with on all different levels, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. So this is the power of our stories. Last but not least, you already know, fam, this is home, right? The legacy continues. It's the 4th quarter. It is the Mamba mentality. This is the time where you see it all the time, even in sports. The elite stick out in the last quarter when everybody's been hit with punches. There's been left hooks. There's been rain thrown down on everybody. But those who really dig deep right now, just like we all are, really are going to reap the benefits. So, fam, with that being said, if you got any value for today, go ahead and drop some 3s down below. This is my training on really mastering IG Live. Good stuff. All right, fam. So that's, hey, I gave you the call to action. I'm going to be looking. I'm going to go through each of your Instagrams tonight, tomorrow, this week. I'm going to be looking for the interviews. I'm going to be looking for the lives. Remember the spoke, right? When we create our spoke, we can actually go ahead and create the schedule. I'm going to be live Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I see some of you've got your flyers. You're actually going over the blueprint. Mondays at 10 p.m., Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Carlos, Femi, I love to see it. And being able to document that journey, you never know who can see it and go ahead and take action. So with that being said, I love you, fam. Go out and be great. Remember, we can be, do, hold our mind. We can hold it right here in our hand. Have a great night. Appreciate you, fam. End the week with a bang. Let's go.